mind though, boys. Yeah! Good on you, Thomas Burgess! Good on you, Tommy! South Sydney! Yes! Yes! Go! Yes! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! Go! Go! Yes! 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 Go! Yes! Yes! Good on you, Joy! Let's go, boys! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! South Sydney! Go! Go! Yes! Yes! Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Cody's Footy World, and welcome back to yet another NRL live stream, and then welcome back to another NRL tipping video. Hope you guys are doing very well on this lovely Tuesday afternoon. Team List Tuesday once again, as always, and of course, I'm here to give you my round 14 tips of the 2025 NRL season. Hope you guys are doing very well. Now, before we get into the tips, we'll just go over briefly last week. Now, last week we had 7 games last week, counting State of Origin as well, 8 in total. I managed to get 5 out of 7 NRL games correct, if you want to count Origin as well, 6 out of 8 for last week. Great to see New South Wales win and finally starting to do a lot more better in the tips. But this week is going to be a bit harder when it comes to tips, because this round is a fully fledged, full strength for every single team before we find out on Monday morning, or in this case Monday night, because we've still got a game. We've got a game on Monday this week, which we'll get into very soon. We'll find out when the team list for both teams for New South Wales and Queensland will come out, but that will be at the end of the week or end of the round run. But anyways, guys, hope you guys will enjoy the stream. Don't forget as well to like the stream, ladies and gentlemen, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. And don't forget to comment down below in the live chat there, or if you're watching this after the video, comment down below what your tips are for the round 14 for round 14 of the 2025 season. But anyways, guys, with that out of the way, let's get into the first game, and kicking off on Thursday night. The first game is looking to be a one-sided affair. The first game kicking off for round 14, kicking off from 7:50 p.m. from McDonald Jones Stadium. We have the 15th place Newcastle Knights against the 7th place Manly Sea Eagles. And for last week's games, the Knights, well, they can barely score again, as always. Lost to the Dragons at Jubilee Stadium, 20 points to 6. And as for Manly, putting on a fresh and clinical win after being in terrible form for the last couple of weeks, beating the Broncos. First time they've played them there at 4 Pines Park in 11 years, 34 points to 6, putting a statement on the Brisbane side, who have now gone the 4 losses in a row, which is very funny to see, honestly. But yeah, good stuff from Manly last week, and they finally snapped their 3-game losing streak at home games as well. But anyways, let's get into the team list for both teams, shall we? And we'll start off with the home side with the Knights. So Kalen Ponga is back in the number 1 jersey after being rested last week. Fletcher Sharp reverts to 5'8", and Jack Cogger at halfback. Brody Jones starts in the front row as Leo Thompson serves a 4-game suspension for a crushing tackle. Elijah Sally Leonamono will make his NRL debut off the bench. Congratulations to Elijah. Sorry if I butchered that name wrong. Star winger Greg Marsden is closing on a return from a knee injury as part of the extended squad, so he'll be a massive win for the Knights. But Knights have been terrible for majority of the season. They can barely score. Well, even if he's in, won't really make much of a difference. But anyways, let's go through the Manly side. Jack Tavoyevich is back after missing 2 games, so Jazz Tabunga slides into the bench, and Matthew Lodge drops out. The loss of Josh Aliwai to a shoulder injury sees Tefala Sigley earn a recall to the front row. And for this game, well, it's going to be obvious who's going to win this one. Manly to win this one, 13+. I don't trust the Knights at the moment. They're in terrible form, and the way that they're playing, they should not be playing in the NRL. They should be playing in New South Wales Cup, honestly. Even their New South Wales Cup side's doing better than them, for God's sake. But Manly to win by 24 points here. We'll go a scoreline of 32 points to 8. First try scorer comes from Ruben Garrick. Anytime try scorer is the only one from the Knights if they go over. Go Fletcher Sharp. It will also go Homole Olorokaladu to score for the Sea Eagles. So Manly to win this one, 13 plus. Now we move into our Friday night games. The first one kicking off at 6 p.m. down at Amy Park. We have the fourth place Melbourne Storm against the sixth place North Queensland Cowboys. And for both teams last week, the Storm hanging on by a threat, beating the Gold Coast Titans 28 points to 16 up at Seabus last Saturday. And in the game after that, the Cowboys managed to hold off a West Tigers comeback to just win 32-28. They almost choked in that game, but they somehow find the measure and pressure to hold off a West Tigers comeback, and they won 32 points to 28 up there at QCB Stadium last week. Now let's go through the team list for both of the teams. So starting off with the Storm first, Xavier Coates and Harry Grant return after being rested last week. Trent Nero will start after coming off the bench last week. Rod Gully goes to the bench after starting hooker, and Solo Falongo goes to the reserves. Joe Tant also makes way. Alec McDonald is listed among the reserves as he returns from a quad injury. And with the Cowboys, they've named the same 17 that got the job done against the Tigers last week. Murray Talangi, calf, and Jason Tomalolo, calf, also remain sidelined. So the same side for the Cowboys. Now for this game, the Cowboys have won the last 3 against the Storm. However, that has been up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in the last 3 games. The Cowboys have not played in Amy Park since 2019, so the first time in 6 years, despite these two actually playing in Melbourne for a trial game early in the year, but that's irrelevant. And the last Cowboys win, I believe, was back in 2015, back at Amy Park, which that's been a long time, but yes, it's their first game in Amy Park in 6 years. But for this game, they're very difficult to beat at home, and I don't think Melbourne have lost at Amy Park this year yet. So I'll say Melbourne will win this one. Not confident though. Cowboys, they were really lucky to win last week, but they've been up and down this year. Melbourne to win this one by, we'll go Melbourne by 8. We'll go scoreline of 28-20. First try scorer comes from the Cowboys, however. First try scorer goes to Robert Derby. And anytime try scorers will go Jamarai Nana and Elise Katoa to score. So Melbourne to win 1-12. Now we move into our second and main event game on the Friday night. From Suncorp Stadium from 8 p.m. kickoff, we have the 10th place Dolphins against the 8th place St George Illawarra Dragons. Both of these teams are in very similar scenarios at the moment. Now, last week, the Dolphins are coming off, I think it's their second bye of the season. And the week before that, they thrashed the Bulldogs, who had 3 players out to Origin, winning 44 points to 8. Thereby, for the Dolphins, they have beaten every single team at least once now within their short 2-year period or 3-year period that they've been in the comp since 2023. Which is outstanding. I think they even beat the Titans, as in beating everyone for the first time before when they came in as well, which is extraordinary stuff. And as for the Dragons, they had a shit game, but they did beat the Knights. However, 20 points to 6 at Jubilee Stadium last week. Very great defensive stuff from the Dragons, but it's the Knights though. So not impressive, but still got the job done. Now let's go through the team list for both teams. The Hammer returns to fullback after missing the win over the Bulldogs on Origin Junior. Jack Gavarillo goes back into the centres and Max Feagai to the reserves. Jeremy Marshall King and Max Pluff listed among the reserves as they close in on injury returns. And as for the Dragons, Lee Lua comes to the starting side with Jaden Sewer solo by an ankle injury. Raymond Fatala-Marino joins the bench. Christian Tupolot, who's good to go after his return from a hamstring injury, was put on hold last week. Tyrell Slide drops to the reserves. Ooh, that's an interesting call there from Shane Flanagan, but yeah, that's going to be interesting. Now with this game's a flip for coin game. Both teams are in similar positions. The Dolphins are on the better form than the Dragons at the moment, despite the Dolphins with 5 wins and 7 losses and only 1 win outside the 8 at the moment. But for this game, this one's really tough to pick. But to play it safe, we will go to Dolphins to win this one. Dolphins to win by 4. And for every game these two have played against each other, the home team has always won. So I expect the Dolphins to win this one. Dolphins to win by 4, 22-18 scoreline. First try scorer comes from Herbie Farmworth. Anytime try scorers comes from Ray Stone. We will also go Christian Tupolotu, money man, to get his famous try as well. But for this one, Dolphins to win 1-12. But this will also be the first time these two will have clashed at Suncorp Stadium. Both the Dolphins games that played against the Dragons up in Queensland have been at KA Stadium. So Dolphins to win 1-12. Now we move into our Super Saturday fixtures. Only 2 games happening this week on Saturday. The first game kicking off at 5:30 p.m. It's the Sean Johnson Cup, pretty much. We have from Shark Stadium, the Sharks, who are currently in 5th place, against the 3rd place New Zealand Warriors. For the Sharks, they're coming off their second bye of the season last week, or their first, whichever. But the week before that, they went down to the Roosters up at Central Coast Stadium, losing heavily to 5 players. 5 players that were at that Rooster side. I think it was 44 points to 12. Really shocking stuff there from the Sharks. And as for the Warriors had a very intense, high score thrilling game against my boys, the Rabbitohs, last week, holding on to just to beat the Rabbitohs to win by 6, 36 points to 30. Such an incredible game last week, and they were very lucky to get that win, honestly. I will admit that. And now let's go through the team list for both of these teams. So Ronaldo Monticello has been suspended. Excuse me, from what happened back in round 12, which sees Sana Katoa return from a shoulder injury, shoulder reconstruction very early than expected for his first game of the season. Take Wilton is also back on deck from a shoulder injury from round 7. Billy Burns slides into 18th man. Warriors now. Jackson Forward starts the game after, unfortunately, New South Wales forward and Warriors forward Mitchell Barnett suffered season-ending ACL injury. Really nasty. All the best to Mitchell Barnett, honestly. He played well last week. Been unfortunate, and it was a massive blow for New South Wales as well. Lakia Halasima has been promoted to the starting side. Kurt Catewell moves into the centres, and Rocco Berry is out. Jacob LeBon and Tanner Stower-Smith are the new faces on the bench. This game is really tough to pick. On one hand, the Sharks were playing coming off a bye and playing an awful game against the Roosters 2 weeks ago. And as for the Warriors, they've been winning all their majority of their games this year, very close as well. And the Warriors have actually won the last few games at Shark Park as well, especially including last year, the last time these two were played. Must say, this game is really tough to pick, honestly. This is definitely the game of the round, in my opinion. Will this one know? Let's go to Warriors. I feel like they're going to go for the win here. I know the Sharks at home, they're tough to beat, but Sharks have been up and down this year as well. So we'll back the Warriors to win this one by 2 points only. 18-16 scoreline. It'll be finished by a try, honestly. And first try scorer goes to the Sharks, however. In his return game, we will have Sana Katoa score his first try of the year in his return game. Anytime try scorers goes to Daniel Retenia Lisiak. And for the Sharks, we'll go Britton Nakora to score as well. So Warriors to win in a close nail-biting contest, 1-12. And now we move into our last game of Super Saturday, kicking off at 7:35 p.m. from Suncorp Stadium. So 2 games of Suncorp this round. Front, we have the 11th place Brisbane Broncos and the 17th place Gold Coast Titans, and we have a Queensland Derby. And this is only the first time these two will be meeting each other this year as well. Well, we'll start with the Titans first. They had a pretty good cracking game against Melbourne last week. Unfortunately, a lot of errors cost them, which allowed Melbourne to capitalise on the advantage, just to lose to them 16 points to 28. But still good display from the Titans, and they remain in last place at the moment. As for the Broncos, well, Broncos, first time in 11 years they played at Brookie, and they got flogged by the Sea Eagles, 34 points to 6. And they scored the second try of the second try in that game as well, and they didn't recover from that since. Well, this is going to be a really tough game to watch and pick at the same time as well. Anyway, so let's go through the team list for both teams. Reece Walsh will play his first game since round 7 after recovering from a knee injury. Colbo returns to the wing, and Dean Mariner drops out. Corey Jensen starts at prop, with Carrigan moving to lock and Kobe Hetherington to the bench. Brendan Piacora has been named to start, with Xavier Wilson going to the bench. And as for the Titans, AJ Brimson suffered a concussion captain's run last week and has been listed as 18th man. Alan Fitzgibbon has been recalled onto the wing, with Philip Summey sliding to the centres, and Jojo Fafita, that is ruled out with a broken hand. Sean Mullany is the new hooker in place of Sam Verrills, who is undergoing surgery for a broken hand. A new face on the bench is Amrul Hua, who comes in for Isaac Falasumala. So quite a few changes there for the Titans. Now, this one's, I mean, you can really pick any team in this one. And this is going to be a really ugly game to watch. I'm not going to lie. But despite they have lost the last 4 games in a row, and they haven't won since being the Bulldogs back in round 8. I think the Broncos will turn it around in this game. You know, luckily I haven't tipped them in the last 2 games, and I've been smart about that. But I mean, I could pick the Titans as well, but they're in last. They've been very inconsistent. So we'll go and I think with Walsh back on deck, I think they can definitely change it around. So Broncos to win by 6. We'll go 16-10 scoreline. So terrible scoreline. First try scorer goes to, let's go Jordan Ricky. Anytime try scorers, we'll go Ezra Mam, and we'll also go Philip Summers score. So Broncos to win in this one, 1-12. Hopefully I don't regret this one. And now we move into our Sunday games. There are 2 Sunday games happening for round 14. First one kicking off at 2 p.m. from GIO Stadium in Canberra. We have the second place Canberra Raiders playing against my boys, the one and only South Sydney Rabbitohs, who we currently sit in 9th place at the moment. Now, last week, the Raiders put on a good performance against the Roosters, coming back to win 26 points to 24, remaining undefeated at the new Allianz Stadium, winning 3-0 against the Roosters since the ground has reopened. And as for my boys, we fell short to the Warriors last week. We did come back from 18 points down. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late. But other than that, a very good high-scoring game. It's just unfortunate that we lost, but it is what it is. And we fall out of the 8 as well. We're only in 9th, which is not too bad, honestly. But let's see how we'll go this week. And my goodness, we've got a lot to go over. But first, we'll go with the Raiders first. So Josh Papali'i has been listed to start in his record-breaking 319th game for the Green Machine. Corey Horsburgh moves to the lock, and Morgan Spinney's to the bench. Jamal Fogarty is back after missing the win over the Roosters with a groin issue. And now for the Rabbitohs, we have Jack White and Cody Walker back on deck from calf injuries from rounds 8 and 9 respectively. They've missed quite a lot. Jack White will be back in the centres. Isaiah Tass moves to the wing, and Bailey Bentley Huppe makes way. He is injured as well, by the way. Cody Walker returns to 6. Jaden Sullivan is on the bench. And I disagree with this. Jai Gray drops to the reserves. I really hate that. I don't understand what the logic with that is. I would have preferred Sullivan to be dropped, honestly, because Jai Gray's been playing better than James. I mean, no disrespect to James Sullivan, but why? But it is what it is as well. And Liam LeBlanc joins the bench after filling the roles 18th man last week. And our 18th man this week is David Malawi, which I don't agree with that. But, oh well. It is what it is, though. Now, for the last few games against the Raiders and Rabbitohs, Raiders have won their last 3, including winning the last 2 games at GIO Stadium. Our last win was back in 2021, and that was our last win against them as well. And including last year, which we lost 32-12. And, of course, I will be attending this game as well. It's going to be bloody freezing down there, but at least it's a afternoon game or afternoon kickoff rather than a night game this time, and it's at the start of June, really, as well. But now, this should be a cracking game between the two. Between the Raiders and Rabbits games, for the majority of the times, it's always close and it's cracking, despite Raiders actually have won the last few games against us. But, of course, as always, I'm always going to back my boys. Am I confident? No. But with Whiten playing against his former club and Cody Walker back on deck, hopefully we can make a statement and hopefully we can beat the Raiders. They've been outstanding this year, but beating them at home is going to be tough. But anyways, us to win by 6. Scoreline of 2014. No. We'll go high. We'll go 28-22. So a high-scoring game, I reckon. First try scorer comes from the Raiders, however, and I reckon we will go Sebastian Chris to go over. And anytime try scorers, we will go Josh Papali'i to go over in his 319th game. Congratulations to Josh Papali'i, one of the best forwards that have ever laced up the boots in this modern age of rugby league. And for anytime try scorers for the Rabbitohs, we're going to go Keon Kolomatangi. I reckon he's going to make a statement in this game and get that jersey, New South Wales jersey. He deserves it. And of course, I'm always going to back Alex Johnson for a try as well. He managed to get his 200th try last week, scoring a hat trick. He only needs 13 more to break that record. And it'll be a great occasion if he can get a try down, at least one try down at GAO's game. The game that injured him last year, which was very unfortunate. He suffered Achilles injury back in the Raiders game last year, and hopefully that doesn't happen again. Knock on wood. But anyways, Rabbitohs to win. Come on, boys, and I will be there as well. So stay tuned for the vlog as well. Rabbitohs to win, 1-12. Now we move into another Western Sydney clash, kicking off at 4 p.m. from CommBank Stadium. It's a West Tigers home game. We have the 13th place West Tigers against the 14th place Penrith Panthers. And for both teams last week, the Panthers managed to beat the Eels in the Western Sydney Derby, winning 88 points to 10. And as for the Tigers, a spiritual comeback from 32-6 down, fell a little too short just to lose 32-28. Tigers were really ordinary throughout most of that game, but in the last 15 minutes, they turned it up to maximum or near maximum, and they somehow managed to come back to score 4 unanswered tries and just fall short to the Cowboys. But great stuff from the Tigers nonetheless. Now let's go through the team list for both teams, and we'll start with the Panthers. But they've named the same 17 that took in the Eels. Isaiah Papali'i and Luke Garner are listed among the reserves that they look to return. Now for the Tigers, Latino Fani is set for his first game since round 5, while Jarrell Skelton is also back on deck. Alex Twal suffered a concussion, sees Alex Safer to lock, and Tony Solkar promoted to start in the back row. Brett Naden and Charlie Stangs dropped out to the reserves. Youngster Key Letu Litu joins the bench for his first game of 2025, and back rower Charlie Murray will make his NRL debut off the bench. Another debutant this week. Congratulations. Now, this is going to be an interesting game. Jerome Luai against his former club. Nathan Cleary against his former junior teammates. Well, this is going to be a fun game, but the Panthers haven't really been good at CommBank this year, and the Tigers have also lost 3 in a row as well after that loss to the Cowboys. This one's really tough to pick, if I'm being honest. But for this game, this one's going to be tough. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go. All right, I'm actually going to go for the upset, honestly. I'm going to back the Tigers to win this one. They've lost the last 3. I know they've got a couple out, but I reckon they can just dethrone this Penrith side that beat the Eels just last week. Panthers weren't the best either, and Penrith haven't been playing that good at CommBank this year. So I reckon Tigers just get this one, the win by 4. We'll go 18-14 scoreline. First try scorer goes to... We'll go Aparai Coruscant to score first. And for anytime try scorers, we'll go Brian Toto, and we'll go Jerome Luai as well. Why not? So the Tigers to win this one, a very close game, 1-12. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we move into our final game of round 14. We have a Monday clash, the second time and final time we'll have a Monday game this year. It's the King's Birthday public holiday coming up on Monday, and the King's Birthday fixture between the first place Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs and the 16th place Parramatta Eels. Now, last week, Eels just fell short to the Panthers, 18 points to 10 at CommBank. And as for the Bulldogs, coming off their second bye of the year last week, and the week before, they got bumped by the Dolphins with their Origin Stars missing 44 points to 8 in only their second loss of the season. And they still remain on top, 2 points clear of the Canberra Raiders, who are just behind them. Now, and this is arguably the second biggest rivalry in the game. Form and defence will be thrown out of this window, but we'll see how both of these teams will go against each other. Now, for the big one, Lachlan Galvin has been signed to the Bulldogs for 4-year contract till 2028. He's been named in the extended squad number 23 as he chases for a debut against the West Tigers, for a debut after joining from the Tigers last week. Stephen Crichton, Max King, Kurt Mann, and Jacob Carraz and prop Daniel Saluka Fafenda are all back on deck in a huge boost for the Dogs. And as for the Eels, Will Penny Senior returns from a concussion into the centres. Jordan Semirani moves to the bench, and Jose Pupley drops to 18th man. Callum Talangi has been named to start the game with Luca Moretti coming off the bench, but they may swap on game days they did last week. Well, this is the second biggest rivalry in the game, no doubt. But seeing where these two teams are currently at the moment, Dogs in first and the Eels in 16th, well, there's only going to be one way this game goes. Bulldogs 13 plus. Bulldogs to win by 20. They got all their players back. Eels have been good this year. Well, they've been starting to pick it up, but I reckon it's too early in this. It's too late in the season now for them. Dogs to win by 20. Scoreline, we will go 36-16. First try scorer goes to Stephen Crichton. And anytime try scorers, we will go Viami Kickout, and we'll go Josh Adokar from the Eels as well. So Bulldogs to win 13 plus to round off round 14. And then we'll find out who gets selected for which state. Queensland going to be making a lot of changes. They better be. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up the live stream there. Hope you guys have enjoyed the tips. If you guys have enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here, and don't forget to comment down below of what your tips are for round 14, whether you're watching this as a live stream or if you're watching this as a video right afterwards. But anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel, and good luck to your teams this week. And of course, as always, I will be attending the Rabbitohs game this week. We'll be playing Canberra. Hopefully, the Rabbitohs can win. It'll be quite cold, but hopefully, we can get the job done. Anyways, guys, good luck to your teams this week. See you all in the next one.